Before Timothée Chalamet.
Who the hell is this guy?
No!
Before Tom Holland.
I'm gonna stop!
Before Dylan O'Brien.
I'm so sorry, bro.
There was one bright young actor who stood out from the crowd.
The curiosity is killing me.
Michael J. Fox.
I need the hit. I need a hit.
I probably would like to travel into the future to see if this movie is going to be successful.
The movie.
Oh.
Most known for his role as Marty McFly in Back to the Future and his 30-plus year battle with Parkinson's disease, Michael J. Fox is one of the biggest names in Hollywood, and in the summer of 1985, he was the biggest name in Hollywood.
I'm hip. I'm cool. I'm a happening fool.
Let's go back to the year prior, 1984, when a little movie called Back to the Future was gearing up to begin production. In search for their Marty McFly, filmmakers had one name in mind, Michael J. Fox. So they casted Eric Stoltz. Wait, what? Who? What happened to Fox? Well, turns out Back to the Future had a tight deadline. With the scheduled release date of August 1985, they needed to start filming in November of '84. Fox was busy. He was several seasons into the hit sitcom Family Ties, and the studio didn't want to lose their star. So when the filmmakers of Back to the Future asked if they could borrow Fox for their movie, they said no. Get your own Fox, this one is ours.
I don't think you realize how valuable I am in the outside world.
Back to the Future moved on and continued searching for their Marty McFly.
Well, have you ever been in a situation where, well, you know you have to act a certain way, but when you get there, you're not sure you can really go through with it?
Eventually, they settled for Eric Stoltz, and as for 23-year-old Michael J. Fox, he continued to act in Family Ties, as well as star in the greatest 80s movie ever made,
Teen Wolf. He's got style.
There's something different about you. Did you change your hair?
Everyone has that one cheesy movie they can't help but love. For me, that movie is Teen Wolf. Michael J. Fox starring as a high school basketball player who turns out to be a werewolf and becomes the coolest kid in school? Sign me up. Teen Wolf began filming in November of '84. The same time they started production on Back to the Future. The reason the studio let Fox shoot Teen Wolf and not Back to the Future was because Teen Wolf was filmed during an unexpected break in production for Family Ties.
You had a few hours to kill?
His co-star was pregnant with twins, and the short break was enough time to shoot the movie.
Meredith is pregnant. And then we find out she's pregnant with twins, so then we find out we have to shut down for 5 weeks in the middle of production in the fall. So we did, and during that time, you know, I didn't think about having a film career. Like I said, I was just really happy to have Family Ties, and everything was fine with me. I had a shiny new car.
Filming Teen Wolf was also far less of a commitment than Back to the Future. One was an indie movie, and the other was a Steven Spielberg film. While Back to the Future's production was going to carry over into the new year, Teen Wolf was filmed in a month, which for any size production is pretty fast. It turns out that 5'4" Michael J. Fox isn't the world's greatest basketball player. Shocking, I know. That led to a body double for many of the basketball scenes. Thankfully, the makeup made this easier to hide, and Teen Wolf wrapped production before the new year.
Happy New Year!
Goodbye 84, and hello 1985. It was January, and Back to the Future was over a month into production. Things were going, let's just say, less than great. Reviewing the footage, Robert Zemeckis knew he had made a mistake. He casted the wrong Marty McFly.
There were absolutely no problems with Eric and what he was doing, except for the fact that I saw his portrayal of the character being basically out of sync with what my idea for all these years was for what the film was about. And it doesn't have anything to do with his ability as an actor. He's a wonderful actor, and I'd love to work with him again. It just, I found myself with a very good actor cast in the wrong part.
Eric Stoltz was talented, but he wasn't right for the role. He was method, and they described his portrayal as Marty to be intense. His performance was too dramatic, and the comedic beats weren't landing. The problem was, they were over a month into filming, and they had already searched everywhere for the perfect Marty. They found him, but he was too busy.
Hollywood's reigning golden boy, Steven Spielberg, is the executive producer of Back to the Future.
Luckily, the film was being produced by arguably the most popular film director, Steven Spielberg. You know, that guy responsible for Jaws, E.T., and Indiana Jones.
Eric, who was turning in a terrifically dramatic performance, and he's a wonderful actor, by the way. He's a very, very good actor. He wasn't
mining the humor that Bob Zemeckis was trying to pull out of him. And Bob was becoming less enchanted and a little more worried as days went on. His performance was remarkable, but the humor wasn't there as much as Bob had hoped for, and so it was a very hard decision, especially 4.5 weeks into principal photography, to replace Eric and hope that we could get Michael Fox.
Spielberg agreed that Stoltz wasn't working as Marty McFly, and helped in getting the actor they didn't deserve, but desperately needed, Michael J. Fox. Working around Fox's busy schedule for Family Ties, Back to the Future continued filming.
It was a strange situation because I worked on Family Ties from 10 in the morning until about 6 at night, and then I'd get in a car and go over to Universal and work until about 2:30 in the morning. The people, the energy involved with the other people in the film, it was just so great that you were just so inspired when you got there.
Having already shot many of the scenes with Stoltz, Zemeckis was able to refine his movie the second go-around.
I love working with Bob because he's possessed, you know? Like this movie, I mean, he must wake up in the morning just like, the movie, you know? And he gets to work and it's like, I'm making my movie, and it's great.
It's rare for a director to get the opportunity to shoot the same thing twice, and Zemeckis took advantage. Finally, after a dramatic shoot, the movie wrapped production in April. Test audiences reacted so well to Back to the Future that the studio decided to move the release date from August up to July. The movie hit theaters on July 3rd, 1985, and the rest was history.
I probably would like to travel into the future to see if this movie is going to be successful.
On a budget of $19 million, Back to the Future has grossed over $383 million and is the #1 highest grossing movie of 1985. It beat Rocky and Rambo, Goonies and Breakfast Club. The movie's impact was giant, and Michael J. Fox's success in 1985 didn't stop at Back to the Future. Anticipating the success of Back to the Future, the studio behind Teen Wolf waited for its release. After its success, they used the momentum of Fox's name and released Teen Wolf in August.
Teen Wolf, a new comedy with Michael J. Fox, star of Back to the Future.
It took the #2 spot in theaters, right behind, you guessed it, Back to the Future.
Now, let's see, Teen Wolf was made actually before Back to the Future, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and these two things are doing amazingly well. Back to the Future did what, $80 million worth of business or something?
I'm not really sure.
A huge hit, isn't it?
Yeah, real well.
And Teen Wolf is doing as well?
Not quite as well. It's probably doing as well because it was made for a lot less. So comparatively, if you got out the calculator, figured it all out.
So in the summer of 1985, Michael J. Fox starred in the 2 top movies in theaters at the same time, as well as starring in the second biggest show on television.
This is heavy duty, Doc. This is great.
I came back, we were in England that summer, the summer of '85, and I come back from there and I've got the #1 and #2 movies and the #2 television show in the country, and just whatever kind of fame and recognition I was enjoying quite well, thank you very much, with Family Ties, just all of a sudden was this whole new thing. It was just very, very strange and exciting, and so my whole life changed.
Teen Wolf ended up becoming the 23rd highest grossing movie of 1985, and remains a cult classic with its 80s Michael J. Fox charm, the same charm that saved Back to the Future. Today, it's still an amazing achievement for an actor to star in the 2 top movies in theaters at the same time. Currently, Chris Pratt has Guardians of the Galaxy at #1, and Mario at #2.
We know it's going to do so well at the box office. If it becomes #1, you're going to knock your movie out of the top spot, the Super Mario Brothers.
That's right.
The difference is, while Chris Pratt is a star, these movies are a part of a huge fan base on their own. Back to the Future and Teen Wolf were not guaranteed to be successful. They were destined to.
I'm your density.
Had Michael J. Fox done Back to the Future from the very beginning, he wouldn't have been available to film Teen Wolf. If his Family Ties co-star wasn't pregnant with twins, he wouldn't have had a break from the show in order to make the movie. And finally, had Robert Zemeckis not had the opportunity to shoot a good portion of Back to the Future with Stoltz, it would likely not be the refined movie we know and love today. Most people who know me know my love for Michael J. Fox and his movies, especially Back to the Future. When I was 16, I even parodied Back to the Future for the first episode of my animated series, Banana Man. It features my voice as Marty McFly.
The past is a hard thing to change. Sometimes we should just leave it alone.
Whoa, this is
heavy. I know.
Years later, I did a presentation in college for my public speaking class on the life of Michael J. Fox. Some actors I love for their work, others for the person they are. Michael J. Fox is one of the rare actors I love for both. He was 23 when he filmed Teen Wolf and Back to the Future, and 24 by the time they were released. That blows my mind. In all of his interviews, he holds himself with so much class and humility.
It was tough doing both at the same time, but on the other hand, I kind of, when you take a challenge, when you take on something, you say you're going to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And in the course of doing it, sitting back and saying, oh geez, boy, I'm tired, I'm bushed, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. Second of all, when you have a job that you love, you show up for work and you're excited about doing it and getting on with the business of doing it. And with me, that just happened twice a day. It happened in the morning, and then it happened at night.
Growing up watching Back to the Future, Marty McFly seemed so much older than me. Fox felt like a grown-up. And while he was, now that I'm about to turn 23 myself, I realized that he was very much still a kid.
It's just me.
He has a new documentary on Apple TV called Still. It's not a sponsor, but I'm excited to watch it. At the time I'm recording this, it isn't out yet, but should be by the time this video is released. What's your favorite Michael J. Fox movie? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe to the channel for more filmmaking content. I would love to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. You can also share this video, unless of course, you're a chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.